Judo footwork, okay? This, start with my feet under my hips. I'm gonna step across. If you wanna use a line, you can. If you can use a piece of tape as a reference point. I'm gonna step my right foot across in front of my left. So I'll point my toes a little bit. Instead of keeping my toes pointed forward, point my toes in a little bit. It's gonna already start to turn my body naturally. My left foot's gonna come behind like this. I'm gonna pivot. Okay, now I can do the same thing the other way. Step across, right, and then back. You see how both my feet are on the same line now? Right, and now I pivot. So, again, maybe I'm already right foot forward. That's fine too. You can start just a little step across, or you can start square, just for practice. Like there's not a lot of times where we might already start here, and then just shoot your foot back. Small step, back step, here. So we can isolate the drill just like that, and then you can finish, and sometimes even finish by stepping further back instead of even on the line. So this drill can be modified as you go. So again, square, 1, 2, pivot, 1, 2, pivot, or already forward, just the back step, or jet back step and pivot, okay? Back step and pivot. Does that make sense, guys? You can add on, okay? And you can take a bigger step if you want. It doesn't have to always be even on this line here. You'll be dropping down and lifting, okay? So as you feel comfortable, increase the level of difficulty. 1, 2. Guys, you don't have to finish it every time. You can segment it however you want to practice different portions of it. With our back step, gonna kind of visualize. Remember we talked about movement drills, visualization? Imagine you have their arm overhooked, it could be underhooked, and we're gonna send our shoulders down as our leg comes up, like we're doing some sort of like an uchimata throw, okay? So maybe you have the overhook, maybe you're holding the belt, whatever, pulling the other arm, okay? And trying to send your toes to the ceiling as your torso comes down. Right? And you can go different levels of height depending on your mobility, but just thinking about finishing the throw. So again, might be already right foot forward and you hit a few back steps and then you finish. Again, visualizing, you guys heard me, practicing your breathing, okay? Right? 1, 2. Foot sweep footwork. So the footwork in the Judo Uchi-Komi. What we just did would be more for throwing, okay? There's other types of footwork that may be more ideal for like foot sweeps, so that's what we're gonna do next. So we're gonna have just like a little lane. We're staying on our little lane here, right? And we're just gonna shuffle first. And we're gonna put our hands out like we're grabbing a sleeve and grabbing a collar. Again, practicing our visualization. Might as well not just have our hands flopping around even though we don't have a partner. Because you do enough for these reps, when you do have a partner, it's just gonna be natural, all right? Sleeve and collar, and just shuffle, all right? Do a few shuffles. Remembering to breathe, and then add in the foot sweep. Notice my foot. I'm opening the bottom of my foot to face the direction I'm going, and it's the trailing foot that's doing the foot sweep. So if I'm going this way, it's this foot. Don't worry so much about like changing your grips. You can change them as you go, right? But for right now, when we're shuffling, boom, I'm going this way, okay? What I'm visualizing is that their feet are coming together. Watch my feet coming together, here. And what I'm visualizing is as they're doing this, I'm gonna hit their foot into their other foot, sweeping them to their back. Does that make sense, guys? You guys are able to visualize that? So, as I'm shuffling, I'm timing their feet and sweeping the mat, very gently skimming the mat, turning my foot so that my bottom of my foot is facing the direction I'm going. Questions? Let's try it. 1, 2. Versus, because that's a kick in the shin, a kick in the knee. Try to trace the foot, you know, so we don't want that. We want, okay? A couple more, guys. Variation of foot sweep, so still collar and sleeve grip. What I'm going to do is move more in a circular pattern, and what I'm looking to do is like pull the lapel, again turning my foot inward, okay, like this, and pulling them. So I'd basically be spinning them behind me that way. So I'm going to take a step first. I'm going to step outside their body, and then I'm going to pull them in a circular motion like I'm turning a wheel. And as they come forward with their front foot, I'd be tapping their foot. So we can do that on a tape line as well, and it might look like this. Notice how I'm really turning my body, exaggerating that. I would be trying to catch their foot as they're stepping forward. I pull, force them to step, and as they step, I'm catching their foot and spinning them to their back. Okay? Question? We'll do our inside trip. And this, like, there's different variations of inside trip, but we're gonna do like going down to our knee on this one, okay? So I like this bit of footwork to add in. It's good for wrestling, good for judo. So remember the back step that we did earlier? It's gonna be like that, right? If my right leg's not already forward, I need to step it forward. On this for this particular side, I'm going to. So maybe I'm already in this stance. A lot of times, like, you know, probably have some, provide some context by discussing, you know, stance and what stance you should take and why. But you want to observe someone's stance in front of you, and they're probably observing yours. So when I see someone with a right leg forward, a lot of times it tells me which side they throw to, okay? Because most times they're leaving this leg forward so they can go quicker into a throw. So they can go right into their back step, get their hips underneath you, all right, and lift you and throw you. So that's important for me from a defensive standpoint. If someone's standing like this, you don't know, but at least you know they need to make one step before they throw you. No one's going to throw you just like this. Not with a over-the-shoulder type throw. Maybe a belly-to-belly suplex or something like that. But they need to get facing that way to throw you. So they would step 1, 2, okay? Or maybe they would at least have to step back if you're charging into them. Does that make sense? So what someone's stance looks like has a lot of implications on what they might be attacking. It's very important to pay attention to. Just like if somebody's standing like this, I know their right hand is their power hand. Okay, so you got to apply some of the same principles to judo. So I like to lead with my right leg already, or my left leg already, so I can throw with one step versus having to stand like this and step 1, 2. Okay? Does that make sense? Cool. So if my right leg's already forward and I want to do an inside trip, I'm going to go 1, my back step, and now that right leg, I'm going to kind of use my big toe as a cue. It's going to draw like a line on the mat like this. I'm going to drop my knee and drive my weight into the person. Okay? So the right leg steps forward. Boom, left leg comes back here, and then I drive forward. You'll see my knee ends up on the floor, and my right hand may end up right here beside my shin, creating a little triangle. I'll be driving my torso into their body. Okay, so from each stance, it might be here. Okay, opposite side stance. Does that make sense, guys? So again, using this line as a reference, I'm going to shoot my leg through the line. This line is the imaginary line between their legs. I'm shooting through that, like straight, and then cutting the corner, dropping to my knee. So it can be good right now to use a line here. Their feet are here. I'm visualizing. I'm shooting through and cutting across like I'm drawing an L with my big toe. Okay. I might be grabbing their legs. I might have grips on their upper body as well and their sleeve. There's a lot of variations there. 1, 2. Same grips, I might have sleeve and collar. What I'm looking to do is step outside the person's front foot. Once I step outside, I'm tilting them so their weight gets on that foot. Once their weight's on that foot, I'm stepping past and kicking back, coming up on my ball of my left foot. Trying to get the back of my leg to hit somewhere around the same spot on the back of their leg. I want it to be dynamic. I want to lift them off the floor. So the first part would be just practicing the step but thinking about shifting their weight across that way like 45 degrees. Right? You want all their weight going like this. So that when you hit this leg, that one's off the floor. So if I hit the back of this leg, they're going flying. And sometimes if their leg is super bent and they don't quite have their weight on it, but it's enough to where they don't step over, because that's what you don't want. When I come in for that Sotogari, I don't want to hit their leg and them step over. Okay? And I also don't want to step in for it and they didn't transfer their weight, and then all of a sudden I step in and they launch me backwards. That's worst case. So you always have to transfer weight before you want to trip, sweep, throw, whatever it is. Okay? So what I'm doing here is step, transfer, step, transfer. You know, if I feel their weight transferred properly, this leg's coming behind, and I'm punching through to finish. Does that make sense, guys? So visualize that, segment it, stepping outside of their body, past their leg swinging behind them, and then finishing by circling your arms and kicking back. Their torso going down to the floor. 1, 2. Range, you're hooking your heel behind their calf, you're actually hopping behind them. So I might be at a further distance and I reach to grab their heel. And I hop, hop, hop until my heel is behind me and I feel their weight so that their torso is leaning backwards. Their shoulders are behind their hips, and then finish. So it might look like get my grips. Okay, I'm still transferring their weight, but I'm reaching hop, 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 hop. And there's no set amount of hops. It just depends on when you can get behind them with your torso and get them leaning backwards enough to finish. All right, let's finish with this drill. 1, 2. Set the clock for 3 minutes. Move around. Visualize getting your grips. Stopping grips. Parrying. Just imagine someone's there. Parry, grab. Got my grips. Move around a little bit. Okay. This. And just flow. Shots, throws, strips, sweeps, whatever.